What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to the first episode of Road to the Platform. This is the first episode of this series leading up to my competition, my powerlifting competition in Edinburgh on January the 17th or 18th, 2019. I am not sure when this video is going to be live, but as of today, which is Thursday the 5th of December, I am halfway through my first week of this powerlifting prep. And to kick it off, before I get into how training's been, diet, everything like that, I'm going to be doing a little bit of an equipment review for everything I'm going to be using going into the competition, gym equipment and powerlifting equipment wise. Since I'm going to be competing in a governed IPF competition, I needed IPF approved equipment. So I've got some new stuff in. I'm also going to be going through some like my belt that I've had for ages and my squat shoes, just going through everything I'm going to be using and then comparing the IPF approved equipment with the equipment I've been using up to this point and seeing the differences and showing you guys. So firstly, I'm going to be going through the new stuff I got and comparing them to the old things. Number one being my new knee sleeves. Now, knee sleeves are allowed to be worn in IPF competitions as long as they are IPF approved. Now, you've probably seen up to this point, I've been using in all my videos these Bulk Powders knee sleeves. Fuck, oh my god. Yeah, they need wash. These Bulk Powders knee sleeves that I've been using for ages. They're really good, I have to say, and they're a good price. But if you look at the difference, now these are Strength Shop. All the new equipment I got is from Strength Shop. You can see the size difference in these knee sleeves compared to these. As you'll be able to see, like, these will cover a lot more of your knee, thigh, and a little bit further down your calf than these will. So these will give you a lot more support, hence why they're IPF approved. I usually get medium size. Now, when I try these on, these are actually a little bit, maybe a little bit too tight for me, but I do like my knee sleeves a little bit tighter. These are medium as well. I don't like it when knee sleeves are like slightly loose because it doesn't feel like I have as much support. Now, because these are brand new, they're obviously a lot like sturdier and tighter than these ones which I've worn for so long. So I don't know if that sturdiness will stay. I hope so for what I paid for them. I'm sure they'll stay and they'll give me much more support right up to the competition and thereafter. Next up, we have wrist wraps. Now, wrist wraps are used just to support your wrist joint when you are bench pressing, or if you're in the gym and doing like shoulder pressing, but for powerlifting it is for bench press. People also tend to use them for squat, just to make sure that when they're squatting their wrist doesn't cock back. A lot of people did. I used to use them for that, but I kind of sorted that problem, so I didn't really feel comfortable using them. So you don't need to use them for squat, but bench they do really help, because as I said, with a wrist wrap, what it does is when you bench press, a lot of people you see, when they unrack the bench, their wrist actually cocks back, and that's really bad on your wrist joint. And essentially what a wrist wrap does is, well, basically what it says, it wraps around your wrist and keeps your wrist in that locked upright position so that you have more power when pressing. In fact, one thing that a lot of people actually do, and I actually got this from Dawson Wyndham, who showed me how to do it properly, is a lot of people, when they use wrist wraps, wrap them around their wrist like this, okay? But this doesn't stop your wrist cocking back if you're doing it on bench. What you should do, so you see how this is not over my hand at all really, you should actually go about over half your hand, the middle of your hand, and then wrap it round like that. And as you can see, this actually stops my wrist from going back so much. So you should wrap it around about halfway around your hand to give that support. For the past while, I've again been using Bulk Powders wrist wraps. Now these have been really well worn, so they're a bit flimsier now. They're definitely not as sturdy as my new ones, which are again Strength Shop. Now, I don't want to judge on the sturdiness in case right away after I get using these the sturdiness kind of loosens, but right off the bat these feel a lot stronger and tighter, especially when I wrap them round. Again, which will give me more wrist support during the bench press. Then we have the least exciting, or at least in my opinion, the least exciting things you have to wear when you're competing is deadlift socks. So again, Strength Shop, just really long deadlift socks. They just remind me of like tighter football socks. Honestly, not sure what these are meant to do or why you have to wear them, but they're just required. So yeah, deadlift socks. One thing I've always had really since I got into like serious lifting is liquid chalk. Now, some gyms when you go into them, like Pleasance used to have it, they used to have the little chalk bowls where they'd have like normal chalk that you could use for your grip. Chalk is so useful when you're doing like rowing movements or deadlifts, any sort of deadlifts, any sort of row. What it can also be used for is if you're going to put a heavy bar on your back. Sometimes you'll see lifters put, like I do, put chalk on their upper back, or if they do high bar on their traps, just to keep the the bar in place and keep it nice and steady. I always have some of this with me because I never trust the gym to go in, because if you're going in and you have a very heavy deadlift day and you don't use straps and you use chalk like I do, and they don't have any, you're pretty much fucked. Plus, this is a lot better than carrying around like a little Tupperware of chalk in case it like opens up and spills everywhere. And you just stick it on, dries really quickly, and you're good to go. Two of the main pieces of kit which I've used for ages now, which is my M.A.D Power squat shoes. Now these things are amazing, I absolutely love them. Squat shoes in general, basically, you see how it's got the raised heel? What that does is allows you to get a little bit more depth in your squat. If you struggle with like ankle mobility, hip mobility, this can give you that little bit more to make sure you're hitting depth. Plus, it has really sturdy like indoor suited soles, so it keeps your grip. Like, I used to actually squat in socks, and that isn't really safe because if your foot slips a little, or if you're wearing like a shoe like Nike trainers or anything like that, where they have the soles that are, they kind of go like up and down, it's not really well suited for a squat. So these are flat, sturdy, and they have really good grip on the bottom to stop you sliding about anywhere. Some people like to use like Vans or Converse or things like that, because again they have that support, but what they don't have is the raised heel, which is again better for hitting depth. So these cost me quite a bit of money. I can't remember exactly how much, probably in the £120 to £150 mark. I'll go through the prices of everything and show you exactly how much this all cost me at the end, but yeah, these cost quite a bit, but they are worth it. Now we have my favourite piece of lifting gear that I've ever bought. This cost me about 160 quid. The SBD belt, I love it so much. It's so much better. I've been using a MyProtein like leather belt before I got this, and then when I started to get lifting heavier, it's a leather belt, so you just lock it in and do that, and it's good. What I like about it is you don't need to like unscrew it or anything. You just get the right size, because some of the leather belts, especially the ones from Strength Shop, to adjust the correct size, you have to actually screw this bit and then put it back. But with this, you have all the clamps here and the little holes that you put the clamp into, and then just do it, and it's so good. It gives me so much support, and to be honest, it's just cool as fuck. Like I say, this is the most expensive piece of kit I have, but it's an investment. I love it so much, and this is IPF approved, so we're all good with that. Then finally, the last bit of kit that I have, and this is purely for competition, is the singlet. And to wrap up the kit before we get into the cost and everything I'm going to explain, should you get them, do you need them, is purely for competition, is the Powerlifting singlet. You can see that there. Yep, it's all just one in there, just a bit stretchy. You have to wear these in competition. Again, not really sure why, but it's just regulation. That's what you have to do, again, from Strength Shop. And I'll stick this on for you right now. Yeah, so this is it. God, it even looks weird. I'm looking at myself. You just have to wear these in competition, and when you squat and bench, I'm pretty sure with squat you can wear a t-shirt, but most people wear a t-shirt, it just gives you more grip. Bench, I'm not sure. I think again most people wear a shirt like underneath for bench and squat, but for deadlifts I see a lot of people just going like this. I'll probably just go like this for deadlift. I don't know, that's just what I've seen everyone doing. I'll give you the full picture so you can laugh at me. So this is the full picture. They do the sizes in sizes of categories, so I'm obviously competing in the 93 kg and I was like double XL, which was quite surprising. But yeah, this is gonna take some getting used to the wearing. What I'm actually thinking of getting is right here. I want to get the M.A.D Fitness logo imprinted on here for when I compete. I think that would be really cool. So that is everything. Now, this cost me a lot. I'm going to quickly add up how much this all cost me and show you guys. And then I'm going to go through like, do you guys need this stuff? Should you buy this stuff? And all that. And I've added it all up, and in total, now this is presuming that you only buy the knee sleeves and the wrist wraps once, because obviously I ended up having I bought the bulk powders ones first and then bought the strength shot ones, which are IPF approved. So I probably recommend, if you have an aspiration to compete, you're probably better getting the IPF approved stuff straight away. And what I'm actually including in this as well is my Vans, because I wear these for deadlifts, and I will be there wearing these for deadlifts in comp. Again, because they have the good indoor skater, the skater shoe sole, that's really good for grip. So, and usually people for deadlifts wear these or Converse, things with a flat sole and good grip. So I'm including them as well in that price. Overall, £478, close to £500 just on that equipment. Now, to enter the competition, I also had to pay a £50 membership fee to Scottish Powerlifting, and I'm having to pay £35 to enter the competition. So overall, we're pushing close to nearly 600 quid, quite close. And that's essentially, most of that is just to even enter the competition with all the IPF approved equipment, and entry. I paid my membership to Scottish Powerlifting last weekend. Still haven't heard anything back from them, because I have to get my membership number to enter the competition. So I haven't officially entered it yet, but as soon as I get my membership, and they said it would take about 7 days, I will be entering. Now the most expensive items were the belt, which cost £165, and the squat shoes, which cost me £160. I bought them back end of 2018. Late 2018. They're great investments. Now, big thing, do you guys need these? Do you need this equipment? Well, a lot of these you don't need. Even if you're an experienced lifter and you don't, but you don't have any aspirations of competing, then you don't need the IPF approved stuff, meaning you can get the cheaper knee sleeves, the cheaper belt, cheaper wrist wraps. You don't need deadlift socks. You don't need a singlet. And you can, if you want a good quality, good quality stuff, you can get it for a lot cheaper than that. And if you're just getting started with lifting, realistically, you need none of these. If you're just getting started in lifting, you really don't need any of these. I'd probably just recommend you get a good pair of shoes that support you and give you a bit of grip if you're doing compound lifts, especially if you're doing deadlift. But to start with, these things are not required if you're a beginner lifter. But if you have aspirations, if you do start to get more experience, then you have a little even thought in your mind that you're going to compete, I'd probably recommend you invest in good quality IPF approved gear, just so when the time comes you're basically all kitted out. Now the majority of these things are designed to give you support. Lifting gear and powerlifting gear doesn't suddenly make you 10 times stronger. It's not like if you deadlift 120 kilos, then you get a belt, suddenly your deadlift goes up to 140. It doesn't work that way. These things just give you a little bit more support so that you're safer. That's realistically it. But looking at it now, you can see how much of an investment it is to compete in a regulated competition. So I would really recommend, if you want to do it, you make sure that it's worth your while. It's took me this long to decide to compete. I've made sure I've built my strength up for a long time. And I always was put off by the cost of it, because this sport does cost a lot. But with these things that I've bought, the good thing is they're investments. They're things I'll have and use for life. So for me, it's worth it. If you're someone that's been into the gym for 6 months and you're thinking about competing, you might, if you buy all this stuff and then fall off the gym for a while, you're not that dedicated, it's not really worth the investment. So you need to make sure you're dedicated, that you really do think you're going to have a future competing, and that you've built that base over a good amount of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, how has the first week of the prep been? Well, I've done 2 sessions so far and they have been fucking difficult. This week is a lot of volume. I've been doing sets of 10 on squat, on bench, on deadlift, and it has been very, very difficult. I've been trying to learn the technique and the points that Mark has been showing me in the session, that he's been reiterating me through WhatsApp and everything, and it's been difficult. It's been difficult in many aspects. I actually, squat, I had 3 sets of 10 programmed for 157.5 kilos, managed that, but on the first session I actually failed. I was programmed 90 kilos on bench, on pause bench for 3 sets of 10, and I failed. What is going on? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome to the first episode of Road to the Platform. This is the first episode of this series leading up to my competition, my powerlifting competition in Edinburgh on January the 17th or 18th, 2019. I'm not sure when this video is going to go live, but today is Thursday the 5th of December and I'm not sure when this video is going to be up, but I am... As you saw there, on the third set, I only managed 8. Now, that threw me off massively. I was so pissed off with myself. But I did take into consideration the fact that on the Saturday before I had a day out with my team members of Team M.A.D Fitness, my clients, we had quite a big drink, and even on Monday I was tired, I didn't feel good, I didn't feel up for it, and I was quite nervous going into it, you know, the first session where I programmed something that's not by me, and I just wasn't in the right mindset. But I actually have 90 kg pause bench for 3 sets of 10 today, and I am determined to nail it. Not only get the number, but do it with better techniques. That's the most important thing right now. I'm having to really focus on my technique. So now what we're going to enter into is I'm going to do today's session, and I'm going to do a commentary over it, and I'm going to wait until Mark gives me the feedback on squat and bench after the session and talk you guys through it and talk about what I need to work on from what we're seeing. Today I have programmed 147.5 kilos for 3 sets of 10 on pause squats, which is going to be hard. Then the 3 sets of 10 with 90 kg on pause bench, and then we go into 2 sort of accessory exercises. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll catch you in the gym. Right, welcome to the workout commentary, guys. So today, as I'm recording this, is Sunday the 8th of December, so it's a couple of days after. Mark hasn't actually got the feedback to me for this session yet. Sorry if you hear it, noises behind me, it's my nephews and my mum. Mark hasn't got the feedback to me yet, but I need to get this YouTube video done because I should be studying for my exams, which are one's in less than a week and one's... oh god. But yeah, this is my warm-up set for pause squats. I had 3 sets of 10 on pause squat with 147.5. This is my warm-up set of 130. And pause squats are hard, especially sets of 10. This whole week has been high volume with a good amount of weight, and it has been tough. It's something that I've had to get used to, but it's definitely something that will improve my technique and improve... honestly, it felt like conditioning work, so it definitely improved my strength too. But the main focus for this was to not rush, because on Monday when I did 172.5 for regular squats for sets 10, Mark said that I was just... no wait, 100... yeah, something like that. No, 100... I can't remember what it was. 157.5, I think it was. Something like that. Anyway, a good amount of weight. Mark said that I was just rushing and breaking too early and not taking my time with it. So with pause squats, it's a good opportunity to do that. You know, because you have to pause at the bottom, which means you can't just like rush into the descent. You have to take your time, get your core as tight as possible, which is another thing I need to work on, explode out the hole, which I really felt like I managed to do, especially in the first couple of reps of every set. But this is the first set you're seeing here, and I feel like this set is solid, but you'll see once I get into the this is the first set. I'll show you the final set. I do start to lose it a bit because I do get tired in the later sets and I start to go a bit faster, just because I found it's hard. It's really hard. Squat sets 10 are brutal, and we'll just be moving on to that final set here. And I really had to get my mind right for it. Now every session I'm going into like knowing it's going to be hard and knowing I'm going to need to push. And this, you know, this whole week, like this is the end of the first week now, and I am surprised at how difficult it's been, but I'm glad it's this hard because I'm really proud of actually even getting through every session. But you'll see here I am starting to go a bit faster. I'm still trying to keep my core really tight, but because you have to hold your breath, get your core tight, trying to keep your breathing can be pretty difficult. But the good thing is I did manage it. I managed all the sets 10. I'm looking forward to seeing Mark's feedback, but the main thing was trying to control the bar, making sure the balance was there, making sure the bar path was good, which I think for the most part I did manage. But on this set I definitely should have took my time a bit more. By the time I got to the last set, like what Mark said was just hold the bar, like you can hold it all day, just take your time, get your breath. But my legs started to like twitch and shake. So I was just like, fuck, I need to go before my legs like give way. But like I said, I managed it, it was hard. And then after this we moved on to bench. As I said in the video, I missed 90 for 3 pause reps of 10. So this was big for me. I missed it on Monday, so this was big for me. I really want to make sure I got my technique right. You can see I'm pulling on the bar to get my lats tight. Then I pull myself in, get myself under the bar in the correct position, and then start to go. What I also had to work on was keeping my elbow tucked under the bar well enough to give me the power to push back. which I felt I did manage better. I believe this is the first, yeah, this is the first 6. I actually ended up whacking like the 6th rep off the J hooks, which set me off, but I managed to hold it and I managed to get the 10, which was good. I know you'll probably notice that my bum at times may look like it's coming off the bench. Right now, that will be tidied up before we get to competition, but for now Mark really wants me to just focus on just using that leg drive, because I always knew that I wasn't using leg drive when I benched before. I could just tell, and it's something I need to work on. Not every time does my butt come off the bench, but I know a couple of times they did, but it's not too much, and it's something again I can tidy up. But you can see I'm really trying to use that leg drive. Legs lift up a little bit, I'm trying to get that power into my upper back to press it up, and you know, sets of 10 again, difficult as it gets to the later reps, but I'm just happy that I managed it. I believe this is the 2nd set, or it might be the 3rd set, I'm not 100% sure. You know, trying to get that pause, yeah, that's an RPE 10. But we managed to do it, managed to finish it, which was good. Then we moved on to a superset. These are called Lou raises or Woo raises? I can't remember which one. I'll put the right one on the screen. Basically, you take plates and you do a full range of motion right the way up. Something pretty much like a lateral raise, but slightly different. Tried to keep these really controlled. I was meant to do these sets of 10 with these supersetted with dumbbell row, bent over dumbbell row at an RPE 7, which, you know, I just stuck with 5 kilos and tried to keep it as controlled as possible. Then moved on to bent over rows, pulling the right in again, trying to keep it controlled, really keeping my elbow tight to squeeze my lats. It was quite good to do a non-powerlifting movement because you know, because of this style of training, it's so different. Like, I'm just squat, bench, deadlift, or a very, you know, or pause squat or pause deadlift, you know, or bench. I was doing like auto press, spot press, not auto press, where you bring it down and it's just before it hits your chest and driving up. Like I've done, it's so different to my type of training where I do like the main powerlifting movement, then go into a lot of like bodybuilding stuff, really focusing on getting a pump. But it's hard, but it's so good. And like I say, if I'm doing like sets of 10, the high volume, if I can really nail the technique when I'm absolutely gassed on like the 7th rep of an exercise with good weight, you know, tell me to do a set of 3, I'm excited to do a set of 3, just one set of 3 reps. Like, you know, 3 to 5 is going to be, you know, feel easy. So my accessory movement for squats was squats. This is 100 kilos with a 3-second eccentric and a 3-second concentric, and these were difficult too. Again, by this point, even on the bench press where I'm using leg drive, my legs were fucked. Like I was struggling to use leg drive because on the last rep of the final set, my right leg was like twitching, like it was horrible. So these were not easy. Again, with doing the slow eccentric and the slow concentric, you really have to focus on keeping your core tight, and I know that's why Mark will have put these in here, because you can't just like bounce in and out. You need to keep it tight the whole way through and keep it controlled and keeping that balance with the bar path. So you can see all these things are in here for a reason. But all these sets, like these sets of squats and deadlifts and everything, for this week have been like a minute long, and they've been so difficult. But again, I'm really proud of myself just for getting through that first week. And I'm looking forward to just kicking on, learning from Mark's feedback, and just keep trying to get better and keep trying to get better. And that's the game plan. But I'm enjoying it. It's just different, and I'm learning a lot, which is so important. You'll see here, like, oh god, I can still remember the pain. Like literally, I was just excited to get the bar racked and get off it, because I didn't, after doing those first sets of squats, I didn't want to do squats again. Oh yeah, I just wanted to show you this because I was so lucky my camera didn't actually completely smash here. So you can over and be like, oh my god. And there it goes, and there it's gone. Oof. Yeah, it took quite a fair whack. So to wrap this video up, the first week has been difficult. It's been good though, I'm learning a lot. In terms of my diet, I'm currently weighing in at like 193-ish pounds, which is like 87, 88 kilos. So I still have a lot of room to grow before the comp, because obviously I'm competing in the 93 kilo category, which is good. You know, it just means I'm going to get stronger as I, you know, put up a good bit more weight on. But I don't want to just be like packing on tons of weight really quickly. I'm still trying to, you know, keep my weight going gradually, so I'm still building muscle. I'm still keeping my body comp good, because I don't want to just getting unnecessarily like fat or getting fatter will not help me lift any more weight. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.